What's up, traders? Matt from the Trade Brigade here doing a technical analysis on ticker symbol ATER for Aterian Inc. On the left-hand side, we have the daily time frame, and on the right-hand side, the 30-minute intraday time frame. First things first, this will obviously be an update. We talked about it just yesterday, and the main thing to discuss is that we finally did break down underneath that $9 mark. So again, we've been echoing this sentiment for forever now. This was not a buy, and hopefully you didn't buy it on today's session because obviously we closed underneath that area there. So what is the next area of interest? Well, as we've been mentioning, it's the prior breakout point at and around 750. So if we can continue there without getting a bounce yet, then that's where I would expect maybe potential for a dead cat bounce, something that would look like this, probably a back test of the breakdown point here at 9. So if we can see red continuation tomorrow and get into this, that's a first touch buy. Again, you need to use tight risk. Stop loss goes just underneath, and you're essentially trying to catch the falling knife, right? That's the strategy. It's very risky, but if you get in here at the 745, again, the target is 9, and you're looking to aggressively cut a majority of the position there, you can hold on to a little piece to see if we can monitor for continuation, but just trail your stop higher. You essentially don't want to turn a green trade red if it pans out in the first place. So those are my thoughts from the daily. Obviously, underneath that, we're not so interested in the stock until it gets down to about 550, right? That would be the next pullback low from in here, where we could essentially use the same sort of plan, only looking for a dead cat bounce. And it all depends, right? Let me be very clear about this. It all depends on how we get into it. You don't want to see a slow and grindy move into it like this. You want to see a quick move, boom, something like this, and then a nice knee-jerk reaction to get us back to 9, right? It's very important how this actually unfolds from an intraday perspective. So the other thing to point out is, of course, the resistance trend line. Let me actually zoom this back out so you can see where it's coming from. Obviously, it's still intact, and this trade only really works if we sort of remain underneath, right? If we start to go sideways through time and break it that way, the trade, again, off of the 745 is not so attractive anymore at that point in time. Again, that's that sort of sideways grindy activity that I was talking about. You don't want to see that into the level. You want to see that snappy move and, again, knee-jerk reaction for the dead cat bounce. So, again, risky play here inside of ATER, but that's the only thing I'm seeing to the long side. Obviously, if you want to play it short, can you do that? Coming on over to the trade tab. It's hard to borrow. You're not going to short the shares. And, not bad in terms of open interest here, about 2,300 at the money strike, but overall volume just really isn't there in terms of, let's try this strike actually, or this expiration. So decent actually. Let me take that back. 6,000 contracts on the at the money strike here, and only about a 5-cent spread. Not the worst thing in the world if you did want to play this short via puts here inside of ATER. You have the downside targets I'll be looking out for, but in terms of shares, you know my entry points, you know where I'll be looking for those dead cat bounces. So that's going to wrap up the video. If you enjoyed it or learned anything new today, let me know in the comments section or by giving the video a thumbs up. Don't forget our main channel is linked in the description, and all of that being said, I wish you a green trading week.